I'm Kev Appleton. I'm a 59-year-old triathlete, trying to do his best and get as fit and racing as well as I can, really. It started out as a hobby and it's sort of become an obsession, which I suppose is probably very familiar for to most people that are in this sport, because it just takes over, doesn't it? But I've been in triathlon now for, well, I think it's 8 years. Racing for 8 years. It's quite good timing, really, because it popped up on my Facebook feed the other day that 8 years ago last weekend was my first ever race, my first ever sprint triathlon.
Right.
So speaking to you now is almost exactly 8 years since I started this.
Welcome back to the Age Group Multisport podcast, and today's guest is YouTuber on Try to Be, Kev Appleton, who has just this weekend raced his first race as a GB age group athlete over in Spain at the Banyoles European Championships. And I can't wait for his video to come out and just for him to share his story and see how he got on with the whole experience of representing GB. So really looking forward to that. But head over to Kev's YouTube channel, Try to Be, and check out his videos. Really cool videos of a nearly 60-year-old guy putting himself through training and racing in triathlon and trying to qualify for age group. So that's coming up. Sadly, there are no podcast recommendations this week because I've not been listening to any, because I've been away. Went down to Cornwall for a week of celebration and watching my eldest son get married. Had a fabulous time, and then we went and did a trek around the coast from east to west in Cornwall, visiting various places over the week, and we had a blast. So that was really cool. So hence no podcast listened to, and not much else to report, because although we took our bikes and we took our wetsuits and we took our running shoes, we didn't do any training. The sightseeing and the family was far more important than doing some training. But it's got to be the first week in a long time that we haven't done anything on a holiday. And it was quite refreshing, actually, and I think our bodies needed it to recover. So that's it. No training for a week, unheard of in the Conway household. But we're back on it this week, and back into the pool, back on the bike, and at the weekend I even tried a quick run on the treadmill. It was a walk run, and it went all right. Just watch this space. So not much going on. We have watched a bit of sport while we were away, and since we've got home. Obviously the Tour de France is coming into its third week now. Really enjoyed that. We watched the Diamond League the other day when Josh Kerr broke the mile world record. That was phenomenal. Really enjoyed that. And we were watching on social media two of our teammates, Tracy Wilkinson and Michelle Moss, who were both racing over in Banyoles, as was Kev, for the GB age group team. Both newbies, just like Kev, and I haven't spoke to them yet, but from the pictures it looks as if they've had a great time, and I can't wait for them to come back and share the story, and hopefully we'll be able to get them on the podcast at some point as well, now they're age group athletes. So that was cool. The other thing is we're looking forward to weekend coming up, because it's the World Triathlon Organisation race back in the UK. I think it's the first time since Sunderland a couple of years ago. I don't know whether it was 2 or 3 years ago now, where we haven't had the World Triathlon Organisation race over here. So it'll be great to be able to watch it also on terrestrial TV. BBC have got the rights to it again after, for whatever reason, I have no idea why the Triathlon Organisation did this, but they put it behind a paywall, and it's a niche sport, for God's sake, so why would you do that? Surely you want to get out to as many people as possible, and that's putting it on the BBC and letting more people enjoy it and just see the whole spectacle and inspire them to try and come and have a go themselves. So it's brilliant to see that is the case, and I think Alex Yee's got some thing to do with this, because he did mention when he got back after his marathon escapades that it was disappointing to see it go behind this paywall and have to pay for it and it not be available to the general public, and it hasn't done the sport any favours. So hopefully this will be the start of things to come, and forget about this paying for it business. We already pay for it during our with our license on the BBC, so just make it free for all and get more people involved. That's my rant of the day. So anyway, we're going to get straight into Kev's story. I hope you enjoy it. Really nice guy. Check out his YouTube channel, and we'll see you on the other side.
I'm Kev Appleton. I'm a 59-year-old triathlete, trying to do his best and get as fit and racing as well as I can, really. It started out as a hobby and it's sort of become an obsession, which I suppose is probably very familiar for to most people that are in this sport, because it just takes over, doesn't it? But I've been in triathlon now for, well, I think it's 8 years. Racing for 8 years. It's quite good timing, really, because it popped up on my Facebook feed the other day that 8 years ago last weekend was my first ever race, my first ever sprint triathlon.
Right.
So speaking to you now is almost exactly 8 years since I started this. I'd say where I am in the country. I'm in Nottinghamshire in the East Midlands. I'm just outside Nottingham, really, a little place called Sutton in Ashfield, and it gives quite a good base, really, because I can go in any direction to almost any venue, which is quite handy.
Yeah, well, it's a nice part of the world as well, isn't it? With the forests around there.
Yeah, of course, we've got Sherwood Forest up the road, so great for a bit of trail running and gravel riding, and lots of trails. I can be on a trail in literally 2 minutes out of my door and not touch a road for miles. It's brilliant.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and you're right about triathlon. It just sort of does take over. If you get the bug, that's it. And it's also great for us at our time of our lives now. Late 50s. Hopefully it'll help with longevity and all the things that go around it. I always say on the podcast, it's a lifestyle, and yeah. So well done for getting hold of it, and I'm sure it'll help you in the future. So what did you do growing up as a kid?
Oh, growing up as a kid, I was born and raised in Cleethorpes, and spent my entire childhood walking up and down the beach, basically. From the age of 8, 8 till 16, I was up every day, school holidays, weekends, walking donkeys up and down the beach. Would you believe it? And taking kids on donkey rides. And that was my summers and school holidays for pretty much all of my childhood.
Yeah.
And then started working. Of course, you have to come up into the real world when you get to sort of 6. I left school at 16. I went straight into work and been working ever since. So, yeah, my childhood was spent on the beach in the sunshine.
There's worse places.
Definitely, yeah, and it kept you out of trouble. We had, we did the usual things that kids would do. We got up to all the mischief, but you were never in trouble. Athletic in that way, and and didn't ever really get into any kind of sport, not physical activity sport. I did spend quite a few years in my sort of mid 30s to late 40s doing a lot of fly fishing, but that's an awful lot of sitting down in a boat.
Yeah.
So I got into that, but as a child, no, I wasn't active at all.
Which makes your entry, 8 years ago into this even more incredible.
Yeah, it was one of those things that just came up in conversation really at work. I was working for a company down in North London, and the owner there said to me one day, "Do you want to have a go at a triathlon?" I said, "What's a triathlon?" What does that involve? We had a chat and we decided that was 2017. So we decided we'd do Blenheim Palace as a sprint race. I think he'd done one race before me. He'd done one race and kind of wanted to have another go, but we were both unfit. I was significantly overweight at the time, and yeah, that's where the journey started there. But through early life, I suppose, like a lot of people, unless you start young, you don't have time for it in life. Life takes over, doesn't it? Work, children, mortgages, all those kind of things, the pressures of life. It's only when you reach an age, for me anyway, that you have the time and maybe you have the finances as well to help. But certainly through younger life, no, it was
Yeah.
all about, raising kids.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that because we didn't start triathlon. I did lots of sport, but we didn't start triathlon until our youngest had stopped playing football because our weekends were, you know, ferrying
Yeah.
him around. Saturday and
Well, yeah,
Sundays. That was it. That's all we didn't have time for anything else really.
no.
So yeah, I can totally get where you're coming from with that. Um, but like I said, it makes it even more impressive that now you've got into triathlon and you didn't know what it was. So just run me through that then. How was the process of somebody saying to you, let's do a triathlon, you not knowing what it was? How did you go about learning?
Well, a lot of it was really self-taught. I mean, the guy I was working for said to me, let's do a triathlon. I'll pay for it. He went through. There's about 6 or 7 of us from work. We rallied a few other the guys together and said, "Come on, let's all go and do this. It'll be a day out." But me and him took it more seriously at that point. Once I understood what was needed, I thought, well, okay, I can swim. I spent time as a child swimming, so always had swimming lessons. Swimming wasn't a problem in a pool. Had never considered what open water would be like. Um, Bought a bike, bought a pair of trainers, and we were up at 5:30 every morning, running around Ruislip Lido in North London for a 5K loop around there. Couple of 2 or 3 mornings a week really is where it started. That's
Mm,
what got us going. And initially, I couldn't run that entire circuit.
mm.
It was a run walk, built it up. I was 4 stone overweight. So I wasn't starting from a great
Yeah, yeah,
place. In terms
yeah.
of fitness. But we stuck at it and we ran that loop over and over and over to a point we were running 2 loops in the morning and running a 10K and getting a bit quicker. So bought the bike, then we kind of invested in a wetsuit and jumped in. I remember my first open water swim. I thought I was never going to feel my feet and fingers again. Went to a lake at Denham, just outside Watford, and organised open water swim venues, so that was nice. But it was early in the year, it was probably mid to late April. It was 11, I remember it distinctly, it was 11 degrees because I said I wasn't going in until it was double figures, and it was 11 degrees. And I didn't really appreciate how cold 11 degrees was. But I think I swam, I don't know, maybe 800 meters, maybe a kilometer, and went to work, did it in the morning before work, went to work, and I think it was about 11:30, 12 o'clock by the time I could feel my toes again. I was so cold.
Yeah.
But it didn't stop me, didn't put
No,
me
no.
off. which was great. We went all the way through the summer that year, and of course weight came off, fitness came a bit, and we spent a whole year really training up, trying to get ourselves into a fit state to go to Blenheim Palace. And we did that in, I think it was probably around about the 1st or 2nd of June. So it was almost, again, like I said last weekend, it was 8 years. So yeah, 8 years ago we stood on the start line of a sprint triathlon.
Yeah, and it's great that you had somebody actually to do it with. You know, you're going through that journey together, which makes a massive difference, I think, rather than trying to figure it all out yourself. It's so much easier if you've got somebody who's on that same path and on the same journey. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's
definitely.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, yes, having somebody to train with and work with and get those improvements with and try and figure it all out.
Mm.
I mean, transition was a complete mystery.
Yes.
Really, compared to today. It was
Yeah.
never been into a T1, T2. How do I get out the way? I don't know if you've ever been to Blenheim Palace and done that
No.
one, but the run, the journey from the swim exit to entering T1 and your bike is about 400 or 500 meters, and it's all uphill.
Mm.
So, first time you've done an open water race and swam your 750 meters, and now you're faced with a 400 or 500 meter run in bare feet then they do carpet it, which is really nice, but all the way up to your bike, absolutely shattered before I got on the bike.
You're glad to get on the bike.
I was ready for a sit down. Yeah,
Yeah.
for a bit.
That's cool. So after your first one that you'd done, you've obviously said that you got the bug and you've continued to do them ever since. So what's been the progression and what's the journey look like?
Well, after Blenheim, there was a huge setback, really. So that was 2000, summer 2018, and prior to doing Blenheim, Dave, the guy I worked for, said to me, he said, "Should we do what we're going to do after Blenheim?" I said, "Well, I don't know." He said, "Well, we'll just get fat again, so we need to book something." So I had a look around, and I found an Olympic distance race at Woburn Abbey in the September, and there was two options. There was a sprint and an Olympic, and I said, well, yeah, well, what about this one? It's in September. We'll have plenty of time to recover and maybe train a bit more. And he looked at me and he said, well, we're doing the Olympic distance, aren't we? I said, well, no, we haven't done a sprint yet. This was the week before Blenheim.
Right.
And he said, no, no, no. He said, we're doing the Olympic distance. Oh, okay. So we booked that. We actually booked Woburn Abbey in the September before I'd even done the first one at Blenheim
Wow.
Palace. So that was booked in the diary as well. So went and did that. Absolutely loved that, and I thoroughly enjoyed Blenheim. But then go and do an Olympic at Woburn Abbey, again pretty much closed roads
Mm.
stuff and a nice easy run was great.
Yeah.
That was that was my 2018, and then we just carried on the training. Really, we carried on running, we carried on cycling, swimming stopped because open water was too cold. Um, and then I had a huge setback. I'm quite surprised I'm still doing this now, but we got talked into playing five-a-side football in March of 2019, and I hate football. I really have no interest in it at all. But I agreed to go, and people were dropping out, and tried to pull out of it. And they said, no, 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 we've only got 10 left. I said, okay, well, I'll come. 20 minutes in, snap my left Achilles, complete break, complete snap of my Achilles on my left. So didn't even know I'd done it. I knew I'd pulled something, thought I'd pulled something, hobbled around for another 20 minutes or so. Um, didn't go to hospital, and that was on a Thursday night. Didn't go to hospital till the Saturday when I woke up and looked at my foot and it was black. And I thought, there might be something wrong here. So I went to hospital on the Saturday morning and spent the next 10 weeks in a boot on crutches. with a snapped Achilles. So luckily, I didn't need surgery. So that was a bonus. But yeah, so that kind of, and I'd already booked, Windsor was already booked for the May. So I managed to defer that entry to Dorney Lakes in the September, thinking, well, at least I've got some recovery time and maybe this will fix itself. 10 weeks after doing it, I went to physio. They took me out the boot. I was in the boot 24/7, and took me out the boot, took me to physio, and said, "This is what we're going to do. We'll get you walking. We'll get you slowly jogging. You know." And I looked at the physio and I said to him, "I've got an Olympic distance triathlon in 14 weeks' time." And he was a student, this poor lad, and he just ran. He'd gone. He disappeared. Oh, where have you gone? And he come back with a consultant, and he said to me, he said, you've just said you're doing he says, "You're not doing a triathlon in 14 weeks' time." He said, "You'll be barely walking properly, let alone, racing like that." I said, "No, I'm sorry, but you misheard me. I've got an Olympic distance triathlon in 14 weeks' time, and I'm going to go." And they almost, ignored it, but I went and did it. I got to Dorney Lakes in September, and I'm proud's not the right word, but I'm comfortable to say I was last.
Oh, well, you're not be able to do this, that, and the other. And at the end of the day, they don't know. It's because it's down to us. They don't know what what you like and what your determination is. And obviously, your determination was massive to get to this race. So yeah.
I'm not sure if it was determination or stubbornness, to be
Well,
honest.
it's one and the same, isn't it?
I think it is.
Yeah.
And I was just determined and stubborn enough to get myself in a place where I could go and do that. I mean, I went right back to basics. I did couch to 5K in a gym on a treadmill, and I did every step of that couch to 5K so I could walk and run, jog steady, run a bit, walk a bit, do all of that process to get running again on a treadmill, and then went back to doing park runs and things like that. So, but yeah, the sense of accomplishment of crossing that finish line. I didn't care I was last. It made no difference to me. I only went with one purpose, and that was to finish.
Yeah.
And I did that. Yeah. So I may as well have been first in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's brilliant. It's a really, really good story. I love it.
And then the years ticked by really from there. Once I got back into it, I picked up on a lot of the outlaw events, and did Nottingham. I think I did Nottingham twice. I did Holkham once on the half on the 70.3. Picked up a couple of other. I think I'd been to Blenheim 3 times. I went back to Blenheim twice more because it was almost a ritual to go back and do Blenheim again. And I'd love to go back and do Blenheim again and just find the time to go and do it. In fact, I want to go and do the Weekend Warrior Blenheim now and just do the whole weekend. Just do that. But go back to the start and go back there again. And then I threw an Ironman in 70.3 in Duisburg in Germany.
Right.
And then really just ran out of excuses not to do the full, because I think by then I'd done 6 70.3s and I was enjoying them. I mean, I wasn't breaking any records, but I was finishing them. I was having a good time, and I was enjoying doing them and enjoying the process of training, and getting to it. So I just ran out of excuses, and did, trained to do Outlaw full at Nottingham. I think that would be 2023.
Right.
And started to pick up some help along the way, with people to help me train, and people who had experience and training plans and things like that.
Yeah. I was just going to, that was one of my questions was, are you in a club and, or have you got a coach, to from where you've obviously done a lot of it yourself to a point, and then as you got into the longer distances, is that where you've picked up coaches or clubs or whatever?
Yeah, so when I moved to Sutton, where I am now, I joined a cycle club initially called
Mm.
South Normanton Cycle Club,
Okay.
and they do a lot of rides into the peaks, Derbyshire Dales, and lots of long rides, weekend rides on a Sunday, and I joined them, and that gave me lots of mileage on the bike, which was nice.
Mm.
And I met a guy there called Ben Inns, and he lives around the corner from me, bizarrely. Didn't know that at the time, but I met him a few times on cycle rides, and we were chatting, and he'd done all of the outlaw events,
Mm.
and in one year he did all six. I think there was a series of six at the time, including Bowood and a couple of others, and he'd done all of them in that year and got all the medals, and they gave him a trophy, a shield, all the medals framed, you know.
Mm.
Um, and he'd done the full, and he had a training plan. So he gave me his training plan, and
Right.
then almost became my unofficial coach, shall we say?
Mhm.
Yeah, he'd got the experience. I was feeding off his experience and following his training plan, um, and we would train together, and we still do.
Oh, that's
We'll
cool.
be out on a Sunday for a swim. He's dropped away from triathlon a bit. He's a few years older than me now, but he's dropped away from triathlon a bit, but focused on some of the more longer endurance stuff. Done a
Mm.
couple of ultras and some big swims. So, um, and then I joined Chesterfield Tri Club. Was looking for a tri club, and I looked at two or three. There's two or three close by. I've got Nottingham Tri nearby. I've got Mansfield Tri, Bassett Law Tri, Sheffield Tri. They're all around me, and I settled on Chesterfield, the other clubs will be great. I know they are, and I see all their members, and we race together quite a lot. But I joined Chesterfield. I don't really know why. It just seemed the right choice, and got we have a team of coaches. We have organized swim sessions every Tuesday and Thursday. We used to have a track session of every Wednesday at a school, but that's now taken over by a running club called Clown Roadrunners. They run that club, that track session, but we join them and get a track session every Wednesday. Um, and the head coach at Chesterfield Tri, a lady called Lorraine Murphy, who's again is in GB age group, and she's going to the World Championships at Nice this year for 70.3
Mm.
for the Ironman World Champs. And I took her on as my coach and paid her separately, privately, to coach me to Ironman Barcelona in 24,
Right.
which so I'd done the full at Outlaw in 2023, kind of almost self-coached with a lot of help from Ben and following his plan. And then went the following year to Barcelona to do Ironman, and used Lorraine as a personal coach then, because that's what she does. She is a certified level 3 BTF coach. So took her on privately as well as with the club, so I've got club sessions and her private time as well. Think, what do I need to do? How do I need to do it? Just go and do this session, and it's done. And we had a plan for Barcelona, um, and I came in an hour under, in fact, an hour and 10 minutes under the plan. So
Well,
had a great day, great race at Barcelona. Enjoyed that.
cool. Brilliant. Yeah. It's always
Um,
important. I mean, an hour and 10 minutes is massive, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, yeah, the bike and I think the bike I picked most of the time up on, and Barcelona's flat anyway.
Yeah.
And you get a headwind one way and a backwind the next, so it's kind of helpful. But yeah, the run went okay. The swim was great.
Yeah.
Loved the swim. Um, and then the bike was good. So yeah, shaved off an hour and 10 minutes off our plan. So
Brilliant. So are you still coached at the moment then, or are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not coached privately, individually. What I take the coaching from the club sessions.
Yeah.
So we get the coaching from Clown Road Runners on the running, and then the swim session I always do the Thursday evening, which is a 90-minute session, and there's always a preset program, plan,
Mm.
and we get some coaching and advice and tips from coaches that we've got there that are doing that. And then the rest of it is just me.
Yeah.
Um, I've spent a year focused on sprint, so I've just really focused on picking up the speed on 5Ks, picking up the speed on the swim,
Mm.
rather than the longer endurance
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff.
I saw that in your email. I was just before we get into that, um, how did you find out, other than the people in the club? I guess you've already answered this one, but how did you find out about age group? And did you find it difficult to suss it all?
So I found out about age group probably before I got any info from the club. I
Right.
was training and racing some smaller races with people that were already age group athletes
Okay.
in the teams. Um, and there's two or three of them that we used to meet up on a Saturday morning and do a swim and then go and do a run around some trails. And training with them and talking to them, kind of the encouragement came to go and look further into the age group stuff. And could I get to a point where I was quick enough and good enough to qualify? Which is why I then spent a year on sprints, that was my target. The process was fairly easy, I felt. Once you got through the BTF site to understand the age group qualifications and registering to qualify and entering the races, yeah, it all seemed quite easy for me, really. I didn't struggle with it.
Yeah.
Uh, the information was there, just a question of sitting down and reading it and deciphering it, making sure you understood it. And I think I got a little bit confused around the 120% rule and stuff like that, which probably a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Um, but once I got my head around that, I did the sprint at Nottingham last year at Outlaw. I didn't make the right time there that I wanted or should have needed. So I went to Bournemouth at the end of the season to do the Bournemouth International Triathlon there, which was also the age group qualifier for sprint, and I missed out by 40 seconds. I was like, oh, what could I have done to shave 40 seconds off what for me was a pretty good race. So not a lot I could have done about that. I was just 40 seconds slower than needed to be. Uh, but I did work out the process for aquathon.
Mm.
So uh, my times there were well within the age group requirements for aquathon. So I thought, okay, that's a backup. I get the experience on age group
Yes.
and then push forward for this year,
Yeah.
and hopefully onwards for the next few years.
Yeah.
I also worked out that I would be able this year to qualify in 60-64 age group,
Mm-hmm.
although I'm 59 because
Yeah.
I'm qualifying for next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've got to get those things worked out in your head, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't work out initially why I wasn't getting the time I needed, but people were getting qualified and they were racing in 50-54 at that event. And I realized they're 54, so they're going
Mm.
to be 55 next year.
Mm.
And I think that 50 to 59 age groups, that's probably one of the toughest age groups to race in, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that and maybe the ones above and below the most competitive. There's the
Yeah.
most athletes, and it's in my experience, it's just because I've been doing it a while. That group is just whatever age group you've been in, they've all moved on, and other people have like joined as well. So it's just got bigger and more competitive, and they're not slow.
No.
Even at that age, they're not slow. I mean, you've got some guys doing like 18-minute something for 5Ks, and it's like
Yeah. I know.
that's
I
what
know.
you're up
It
against.
is. even looking at the Outlaw results from a few weeks ago for the sprint, the 60-64 age group winner was something like an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I got a PB because I did it both years, this year and last year. I beat last year's time by 3 minutes 50, which is a significant improvement.
It's huge. Yeah.
But it's still nowhere near enough.
No.
I needed another 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, where am I going to get that from? I've just dragged 3 minutes 50 out of nowhere. How am I going to get another 3 minutes, 4 minutes out of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did race last Sunday in a little race at Uppingham School in Rutland.
So yeah, I saw your video on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I got 5th in age group there, so I was well chuffed.
Very,
And there was
very
quite,
good.
and that was a 10-year age group, 50
Yeah.
to 59 age group. So I was quite pleased with that.
Yeah, well done. Well done. So let's just go back to you found out about age group, and how did you decide what you were going to do? I know you've already said that you tried the triathlon qualification, but you got the qualification time for the aquathon.
Yeah.
So what aquathon was it that you were going for?
Well, I've qualified now for the European
Banyoles.
Championships in Banyoles
Yes.
in July.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
the one.
going out there. That was the one. I saw that one and thought that's the one that I don't want it to be a backup, but if I'm not going to
Yeah,
make
but
the sprint try, then I'm a
the aquathon then, I was just going to say, we're in this multi-sport bubble now where we've got duathlon, we've got triathlon, we've got aquathon, and we've got aquabike. And you can race for the GB team in all of those, at all different distances. So it is no lesser of an event. It'll still be as competitive. It's just a different format of entering your results. Instead of racing, as you know, you just put your results in. But that's ideal for people who don't want a bike.
Definitely, and looking at the range of multisport now, I mean, there's 3 of us are going to Banyoles from Chesterfield Tri Club.
Wow, that's good.
I'm doing the aquathon. The club captain, Andy, he's doing aquabike, middle distance aquabike.
Yeah.
And his partner Lorraine, the head coach, she's doing the middle distance triathlon.
Brilliant.
So we've got a range of one of our other guys is going to another event. I can't remember where it is now. It's in Spain, but it's the World Championships rather than the Europeans. He's doing aquabike as well.
Right.
So we're all qualifying in different disciplines, but it's all that multi-sport environment, isn't it? And it to me just sounds. I mean, that event coming up in July, and probably most of them, I'm sure, are. They're a multi-sport weekend, so there is the aquabike, there is the aquathon, there is the middle distance triathlons. It's all going on. So you've got all triathletes really in one place doing different events.
Yeah.
I think looks like it should be great fun.
Yeah, you're right. I mean that there is the multi-sport events. And then there's the triathlon events, like the sprint and the standard are separate, as you probably know. They run those on a different, they usually tie them into the world elite championships. But everything else is usually, not always, but usually in a multi-sport event. And it's great. It's such a festival. It's really good fun. So yeah,
we're flying out. I'm flying out there. Me and my partner, we're flying out for the week. We're going on the Tuesday, coming back on the following Tuesday, and my race is on the Saturday. In the middle of that, so we can be there for other people as well and support the other club members, particularly, but everybody else, and support them through races as well on the Sunday. Or I think there's even races on the Friday. From memory from the program I've seen. So. We can help and support and be there for everybody, can't we? Rather than just turning up and going home.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can that's the thing, isn't it? The beauty of it. You make a holiday of it as well as supporting. So yeah, it's just it just becomes a lifestyle, and it's just you build your holidays around where you it's a bit of both. You build your racing where you want to go and on holiday, you know.
Yeah.
So, well, it's what we do. If
No.
we fancy going somewhere, we'll see if we can qualify for that.
Well, definitely, and that's the way it's become. So, we've got a caravan, so we can go all over the country and pick a race
Yeah.
and make a weekend of it. And we're going over to Coniston in a couple of weeks' time. I'm doing the chill swim there, the 5.25 mile swim, just because. Well, I'm doing it with Ben because Ben got into all of these long distance swims and stuff, and he did the Triple Crown for 2 years, did it 2 years running. So he taught me into Coniston. I said, I'm not doing the next two, Ullswater and Windermere. I'm not swimming 10.5 miles. I'm sorry, I'm just not. But 5.25, okay. We've done Lake Bala for the last 2 years, which is he did the 9K, I did the 4.5K distances at that. We've done that for the last 2 years. So he took me into Coniston, and I went, okay, it'll fit in the middle of racing triathlons. It'd be a good endurance swim, if nothing else, to put in the bank for an Ironman at some point.
Yeah. Well,
So,
it's all good training, isn't it?
well, and you end up training for that distance, inadvertently training for triathlon distances because we're going on Sunday to activities away, and we'll do 4 or 5K Sunday morning,
Yeah.
nice and steady. But
Yeah.
that's once you've passed the 3.8, you've done your Ironman training, haven't you? You
True.
crack that distance off, it's done.
Yeah. 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 So where do you see after you've done your aquathon in Banyuls, what's going to be the next goal from an age group point of view? What do you want to do?
I want to get on. I want to qualify for the sprint. I want
Right.
to qualify in the sprint distance. I've done Nottingham Outlaw. I think so far I'm in with a chance on that, but
Did you get a
there's
roll
two
down
other.
percentage?
Yeah, I'm within the percent. I'm in the percentage. There's 115%, I think, on that one. So I'm going to go to uh, Dorney Lakes in July for the British Championships because that's a qualifier again, just to see if I can improve my position a little bit or get a little bit closer to that 110% or whatever. And then I'm going. Well, then we fly out to Banyoles, come back from Banyoles on the Tuesday, and go straight down to London for T100 the following
Right.
weekend. So I thought I'd quite fancy doing that.
Yeah.
And then I've got Bala Triathlon in September, which is the European standard distance qualifier.
Very good.
So I'm kind of trying different areas really, see where's my ideal distance. I don't think T100 is. That would be a miracle, I think, if I got inside the qualifying for a trip to Dubai. But um, but I think sprint I've focused on really well for the last 2 years now. Standard will be okay. I think that's probably trying to push it up to 70.3 and full again. I am going to do Ironman Wales next year, so that's on the radar as well. But that's more of a doing it because it's there
Yeah.
rather than doing it because it's we want to race it. That's get through it and finish 16 hours 59 minutes 59 seconds.
Yeah, it's a bucket list race.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool. That's brilliant. Really, really cool. Well, listen, good luck with it all,
thank
and
you.
most of all, enjoy it.
I enjoy it, and I enjoy it every time, and it's never I've never come away from somewhere saying I didn't like that, didn't enjoy it. You walk away tired and shattered and broken in many ways, but and you think, yeah, I think we all have that never again, don't we? It's when you cross the finish line, but 5 minutes later it's like, yeah, actually I was really good and I'm going to do that. When's the next one?
Yeah,
So yeah, looking forward to them all. I enjoy them all. So while I enjoy it,
that's it.
keep doing it, keep
Yeah,
training, and
100%.
then enjoy the training as well because why not? It's today's rest day, so I'm having a
Oh,
rest
very
today.
good. Yeah. So with that then, I mean, what does a week of training look like for you at the moment?
So a week for me is 6 days. So we start on a Monday is probably the easiest place to start my week. Get a pool swim for probably about 1800 2K, intervals, high speed reps, intervals and drills, and then drive home quickly from there, and we have a club Swift ride for an hour, usually 45 minutes to an hour on Swift as a group, as a club. Half a dozen of us, 6 or 8 of us will join that, and we'll do a particular workout, whichever they've picked to do that night. So swim and a run, swim and a bike on a Monday. Tuesday, I tend to do a gym session and do a gym class for it's more circuits and repetitive squats, lifts, that kind of stuff, and then go for a run. So I follow that with a 5K run on some trails. Wednesday is track. So it's down to the track. It's usually an interval session there. There's two options they put on for us. There's an interval session or a more distance-based 800 repeats or 1,000-meter repeats. I tend to do the interval stuff to try and keep the speed going.
Sure.
Thursday is a club session for a swim. That's an hour and a half pool swim with coaches, and again a preset session. So drills and warm up and drills, and then interval repeats for an hour and a half. Friday is rest day, and then Saturday I tend to get the long stuff in. So again, well, sometimes the long stuff. Tomorrow is a swim at 7, and then I'm going to go do a park run. I'm going to head to Long Eaton. It's fairly flat and fast, so I want to again just keep picking up that 5K time and getting it a little bit quicker every time. And then Sunday this week is a swim. Through the summer is open water anyway. Always go open water from May through to sort of September, maybe early October, whenever they stay open. And then that's usually focused on whatever I'm training for. So if I'm training for sprints, then I'll do sort of fast 750s, 800-meter loops. So this week would be 4 or 5K because I'm training. I want to get that mileage in for Coniston, and then once the Coniston is done, I'll have 2 or 3 weeks before the sprint at Tawny Lakes, so I can go back to the interval stuff. That's a normal week now. It's been like that for maybe a year or two. Try and stick to it as much as I can. Get out on the bike through the winter with the cycle. Still go with the cycle club I mentioned earlier. Still ride with them on a Sunday morning. Usually it's 80, 90, 100K quite often, and that's up into the peaks as well. So we get the climbs. Yeah, I tend to try. I get a bit picky now about which rides I go on. I look at the elevation first and decide whether I'm going or not.
But you've got to enjoy it, haven't you?
Yeah, and then through the winter it's turbo sessions and treadmills. That is a normal week.
Cool. Well, that sounds like you've got it sussed out, and I'm sure you'll progress and keep doing it, because it's like you said, it's the consistency that gets you. Not necessarily. Well, I mean, in your case, you probably haven't even scratched the surface, because you're still progressing. So you'll still be getting faster and on all three, I would imagine.
Well, I hope so. I think it's taken me, it's taken me 8 years to get where I am, but I think I've still got maybe 4 or 5 really good years left to get to sort of 65. But at this age, if you're racing and you're training, you're doing the right things, aren't you?
I think so.
For the future,
100%. 100%.
Always good to keep going. And you're right about the consistency. I'm known. They call me consistent in the club, because I am at every training session. I do go every Thursday to the pool. I do go every Wednesday to the track. I hit that consistency, and I don't think I would be where I am today if I wasn't consistently turning up. And I race. I only race for medals. I've got a hoard of them, and I collect medals. If there's a medal that Uppingham race wasn't on the agenda until somebody put it in the group chat. Anybody fancy this at the weekend? All I replied was, "Is there a medal? I'm there." Yeah, and just go and have a day out and have a race.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that helps you get fitter as well, doesn't it? Going and doing those things
Yeah.
as part of your training. So,
Well, yeah, and yeah, I didn't see that particularly as a race, as a in my head, it wasn't a competitive race. I was racing myself, and it was a training session as well. And it was a bit of a technique thing. I was messing about with putting my shoes on my pedals and leaving, elastic bands and all that. I've never done that. So that was
right, well,
that was it was a test. Can I do it? Can I actually get on my bike and put my shoes on and not fall off?
Yeah.
And
What I would suggest on that one is practice before you go and do it in a race. And it's like
well,
it's like the fourth discipline, transition you were talking about earlier. I've nailed the flying mount now, and it's took me a long time, but I actually decided that it was something I wanted to do, and I wanted to do it well. And so I just took myself off and I practiced and practiced and practiced, and I've nailed it. And it's not, I can run with a bike fast now and like get on, no problem.
Brilliant.
But it's that you've got to just focus on it. It's like any part of your training, you've got to focus on it, and you focus on it outside of a race, and just when you're doing your transition practice before a race or whatever, nail it, bang, 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 bang. That's how I did it.
And when I start looking at 40 seconds short at Bournemouth, you think, well, where can I make those 40 seconds up? It isn't really on the swim or the bike or the run. Those 40 seconds can be in transition. And if I can take 10 seconds, 20 seconds off each transition, and that doesn't sound a lot, does it?
No.
But that's enough to give you, and if I can not faff about trying to put bike shoes on while I'm in transition, but I can put them on while I'm riding down the road, I've saved that little bit of time.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
It is. It's practice, practice, practice. I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's the only way to make it.
What are you doing your transitions in at the moment then? If we're not doing a flying map, what sort of times are you looking at?
I can't remember what it was. I think Nottingham was. I didn't do the flying mount and that at Nottingham. No. I think my transitions were about 2 minutes or something like that. Whereas at Uppingham the other day was, under 1:30, and it was quite a run from the pool to the
But if you solely look at your like getting into T1, forget about the run and everything else, just getting across that T1 line into transition and then out. What's your time? That's because that's what you need to look at.
Yeah.
How quick can you do it in there? That's the thing.
Oh, it is. Yeah. And with the flying mount, you can do that literally in 30 seconds or so, can't you?
I was just going to say I'm round about 35, 40 seconds usually.
Yeah, I think I would probably be maybe a little bit slower. Pretty much okay from swim to bike.
Yeah.
The bike to run, still got to master getting my trainers on with sweaty, wet feet.
Yeah.
That's the
challenge. And again, it's like sticking things like talcum powder in your shoes and all that sort of thing, isn't it? Having and I know that they've like stamped down on towel size and stuff now, but but it's about not worrying about that, just getting your feet in your shoes as quickly as you can and out, especially in sprint distances.
Well, there's a huge discussion about socks or no socks, isn't there?
Oh, no socks. No, you don't.
Definitely no socks.
No socks.
Absolutely no socks.
No socks. Not in sprint standard. No socks. Anything longer, I would agree. Yeah, take the time, put your socks on because you're going to be running for like half marathon and a marathon. But no socks.
I raced last year at a thing called Hathersage Hilly, which again was a pool swim and then very hilly bike ride up in the peaks and a hilly run. And me and one of the guys from the club, we had kind of had a race together, but we were racing at different times because it was all staggered starts with a pool swim. But I beat him by 5 seconds, and he put socks on.
Yeah, there you go.
There's your 5 seconds.
That's it, exactly.
You'd have beaten me.
It's stupid, isn't it? It's silly, but if you get into the level that you want to get at, all these little details matter, and they matter a lot, don't they? So
And it is the difference, isn't it, between, qualifying, I guess, and not qualifying.
Absolutely.
I've so far I've always raced sprints with no socks. I would do standard with no socks.
Yeah.
Because I think you can, for 10K, if you blister, you blister. It's not the end of the world.
Exactly.
But yeah, I wouldn't do a 70.3, I don't think, or,
No.
or full without socks, because that's going to.
I agree with you 100%. Well, that's it's been a great story. I mean, not a long period of time, not your triathlon journey, but actually racing for age group. So it'd be exciting to see how you get on. Obviously, you are on YouTube. I'm going to put that out now. Just tell people what your YouTube channel is.
Okay, so YouTube channel is, you can find it two ways, I think. Swim, bike, run, Kev would be one way, and try to be is the other sort of title that I give it. And try, and the number two, and then BE. So try to be. Looks a little bit like tribe, but it's and I really focused that on trying to be my best. It's not about somebody else trying to be their best. It's me doing my best. And if I can be my best, then that's as good as I can get. And it's which level how far up that level do I go to get to be my best? I don't think I'm there. Brilliant to have qualified for the age group team. Go and do an aquathon, enjoy that experience, and then take that into the next few years as well. And I've not finished by any means. I've not gone, that's great. I've done all the distances. I've done Ironman. I've got a GB age group tri-suit hanging up there behind me. And that's not the end. That's definitely not the end.
It's only the beginning.
It is. It's the beginning of that next step of improvement and being your best. I do that in work life and home life, personal life is the same. If you have that mentality through everything, you're always just striving to be that little bit better than you were. And yeah, maybe someday I'll reach that peak of being my best and it starts to all fall apart.
Yeah, but I think because we're the type of people, you're never happy with what you've got or what you've done, sort of like from a performance thing. There's always something you can think you can tweak or do better. But no, listen, it's really, really cool. And your YouTube channel, it pretty much documents what you're doing from a training point of view and from a racing point of view. So yeah, head over to Kev's YouTube site and have a look at what he's doing, because like all of us, just inspiring others to get out there and do it, even at our ripe old age.
It just shows. I'm just trying to show people I can do it, and this is how I do it, and you fit it around normal life. With all those pressures that come with everything you're doing in everyday life. Put the training is real as well. You're in real life, real training situations, fitting it in when you can. Just shows we can all do it at our ripe old age.
Yeah. No, and I think it's great to see what actually goes into doing it, the training, because it is pretty serious stuff. You've just said you do 6 days a week, so it's 2 sessions on some days, so it's not to be sniffed at, is it?
No, and it takes up all of your spare time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, thank you for sharing your story. All we've got left now is the quick fire questions. And the first one is, what's your favourite bit of kit?
Favourite bit of kit? Well, I like my TT bike. Since I bought a TT bike, that's my favourite. I love riding it. Yeah.
And what's TT bike have you got?
I bought a Sipo Venom that I picked up for a really good price second hand, but it's a really nice bike. It suits me, and when I had the bike fit on it, everything was already practically in the right place. So it's just comfy, and I used it for Ironman. And it's the most comfiest bike I've ever ridden for any distance of time.
That's unusual for a TT bike.
Very unusual. The saddle is brilliant.
Cool.
In fact, I can't ride it. I can't ride that bike in bib shorts. I can only ride that bike in a tri-suit. But the saddle is so comfy enough that on bib shorts it chafes, but in tri-suit perfect. So I only ride it in tri-suits.
Yeah, very good. What's the best bit of advice you've ever been given?
Don't stop. Don't quit. Keep going, no matter what's good or bad. If you think you're doing badly, you're not. It's delivering something for you, and it's better than doing nothing. So even if you think it's the worst session you've ever done, get it done, because that's going to be a benefit for you at the end of the day.
Brilliant. Yeah, great bit of advice. And then finally, we've pretty much talked about your short-term goals and what you've got coming up. What's your longer-term goal? What's the thing that you want to achieve long term?
Long term, I want to. I've always done it through other things in my life. I've always given something back. So I'm currently vice chairman of or vice chair, can't say chairman, for vice chair of the Tri Club.
It's all right, I can edit it out.
Edit that bit out, yeah. I'm currently vice chair of the Tri Club, and the plan to become chair, so I can start to give back to the club that's given me a lot. And I do want to get qualified as a coach.
Right.
And I want to then take everything I've learned and done and give that to other people, and encourage and inspire other people to do it, because that's what I've done all my life through other things and other environments where I've taken a lot of experience from it, and then I've given it back, and I guess that's what I do. So I've got an eye on going through the BTF coach qualifications. We'll get some support from the club to do it as well, which will be great. But I'd love to get to that level where I can help coach newer people to the sport, but also those older people that want to get into trying it, because I can at least say I've been there, I started at this, I got to this, and this is how I did it.
Yeah, brilliant.
And if I can pass that on later, when I'm too old and broken to go out and train, which isn't that far away, but then that's the end. That's the aspiration later.
Excellent. Well, good luck with everything, and it's been a great pleasure to meet you face to face. Not watching your YouTube videos, but actually speaking to you.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Yeah,
And
it's great to see you, Rich, as
not
well.
speaking to you in the comments, actually chatting to you. And,
Yeah,
you know.
Well, we must have raced at some point, I'm sure.
I'm
Some
sure.
event.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I'm sure we have. I'm sure we have. Right, I'm going to let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening. And yeah, just thanks for doing this. And yeah, just good luck with everything. And yeah, we might hit up sometime and do a, I don't know, a vlog thing together or whatever.
Yeah,
That would be pretty good.
that would be pretty neat, wouldn't it? Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do that sometime,
Yeah.
because that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Well, we'll keep in touch over YouTube, and if something comes up, then we'll, we can maybe I can meet you up at Activities Away one Friday or whatever day you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever.
Be good. Yeah, keep in touch. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks for this, because
No, it's a pleasure.
Share your story a bit and put it out there. So it's nice to do. And your channel and everything you do is great. I watch it. I see it. I watch your training.
Oh, cheers.
We all go through the same pain. We share. We don't. We don't think we do, but we do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Something that crossed my mind. Maybe you can drop it in. Is that this is to me, triathlon and when you get long distance stuff, is quite a lonely sport, isn't it? But you can't do any of that without the people around you, and it's the people around you that make it. Your family, your friends, people that give you the time and the chance to go and do it. Because without them, you wouldn't do it anyway.
No.
But when you are doing it, it's quite a lonely place.
Yeah.
Especially those long runs and the long swims and long, all of that is all lonely. But you don't do it without the people around you, do you?
100%. No, totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah, but we'll keep in touch, and we will get something for the tube together, and because that would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
And then there's like a crossover then, isn't there, between viewers and stuff, because I don't know about you, but I find it difficult to get it's slowly creeping up, but the views are quite. And it's not what I do it for. I started it for. Here we go. It's ending in 10 minutes again. I started it because I wanted another platform for the podcast. So yeah.
No, I don't get millions of views. I don't get loads of views,
No.
but I do it because it's nice to document it, and then I think maybe one day when I'm bedbound and can't go out, I can watch back on all the things I did.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, great. Have a great evening.
Thanks. Take care.
Speak to you soon. Cheers.
Cheers now.
Bye.
Bye.
So a big thank you to Kev for getting in touch and coming on the show and sharing his story and his journey. Make sure you guys go and check out Kev's YouTube channel, and we'll drop all the links of his socials and video recaps in the show notes. Go and give him a subscribe and follow along with his journey to the next start line, and see how he got on in Banyoils last weekend. And to everyone listening, thank you ever so much for tuning in to another episode of the Age Group Multisport podcast. If you've enjoyed this conversation with Kev, do us a massive favour, hit the subscribe button, leave us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcast, and share this episode with your training partners and teammates, because it's how we keep growing this incredible age group community. If you're an age group athlete and you would like to appear on the podcast, please do get in touch. We're always looking for guests. I'll put a post out on socials this week, and I'm asking for more guests now because Kev was the last one that I'd got recorded. So please do get in touch. You can email us at agegroupmultisportpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram at amp_podcast. Just DM us. We're also on Facebook at Richard Joseph Conway, and obviously we have our own YouTube channel, which is AmpGB. Just get in touch one of those ways. Come on the podcast, share your story, and inspire others. It's as simple as that. So that's it for this episode. Thank you once again, and we'll see you next time. And don't forget, stay safe, keep training, and love the process.
The Age Group Podcast. The Age Group Podcast. The Age Group Podcast. The Age Group Podcast.